Great. So, a very good welcome to everybody to this Climate Leader 45-minute digital lunch hangout. So, I am very joyfully welcoming all of you to this event, and I really look forward to spend this time together with you. This is the third of 8 Climate Leader lunch hangouts that will take place during this spring. So we have gathered here today because of the Remarkable, a project who has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme under the grant agreement 101-024-972. Remarkable is a project that is supporting local leaders to deliver a step change in the progress towards carbon neutrality by 2050. And this project is taking place in 7 different regions around in Europe. So the climate emergency and the energy transition agenda require a clear leadership, high ambition, a courage, and a conviction to really receive and reach the 2050 targets and the goals that is ahead of us. So the project Remarkable is creating a network of current and emerging climate leaders who through their actions and inspiration will drive their municipalities, their public authorities, communities and regions. These are the people that will transform their approaches from one who are focused mainly on energy efficiency and renewables to be one that is focused on the strategic goal of climate neutrality by 2050. These are the people that will set new levels of ambition compared to the national energy and climate plans. And these are the people that also will showcase local leadership and innovation. So today we gather for the third webinar, and I just want to remind all the participants here today that this is a webinar that is having the purpose to really help us all grow in our climate leadership. So during this webinar, we welcome you to take the possibility to write your questions. During the talk that we're going to listen today, you can use the chat book and you can put your questions, or if you have some reflections that we want to have a discussion about, so that after the talk, I will read these questions to our speaker. So with this introduction of the Remarkable project, everybody now knows why we are here today. And I am again very happy to welcome all of you to this community. So we also have a platform in LinkedIn, the Climate Leadership Community, where all of you are very welcome to come and join us. So we will post for you, if you want to enter that community, we will post for you the way to enter this community in the end of the session. So today, in our third meeting, I am very happy to introduce to you our speaker. So we have our guest this time is the PhD EMBA Francisco Puente. He's the general manager in the Escan Energy in Spain. And he will join us today and give a talk about energy communities and how they can be an important support in implementing the Green Deal in Europe. So I am very, very happy to have Fransisco with us here today, and a very warm welcome to you, Fransisco.
Thank you very much, Isabella. Thank you so much. And thank you also everyone for attending this session. So if I'm right now, I should share my screen. Please, can you confirm that it's now shared, my screen?
Yeah, it looks really good.
Okay. So thank you very much, Isabella, for organizing this very nice session. And also thank you all the people for attending it. The session of today is dealing with the energy communities, but what Isabella and us agreed that we would like to talk not only about energy communities which by itself has many issues to discuss, but also about the potential and the benefits of the digitalization of the energy communities. For this, I'm using, let's say, information from two live projects we are working with. I've seen some partners here of these projects as well. One of them is Power Ecom, which is a project aimed at supporting energy communities in different European regions with a number of partners from different energy agencies. And a second project called In Excess, which is dealing with the use of blockchain and digitalization to be used to improve the energy sharing within the energy communities. As Isabella mentioned, please include all the questions you might have during the presentation, and I will be very happy to answer them at the end of it. So to start with this, I think it's important to clarify or to comment what are these energy communities, because there are different possibilities to constitute these energy communities. In fact, the definition of energy communities is quite new. There are two directives of 2018 and 2019 where they are defined. So the transposition in the countries is very recent, the transposition of the, let's say, official European definition of energy communities. So basically, we have two kinds of them, the renewable energy communities and the citizen energy communities. And basically, first thing is that they have to be own legal entities. So a network of people as such is not an energy community, always following the definition of the directives, but they have to have a legal form. We'll see later on which are these legal forms that they are constituted, but they should have a legal form. Another important point is that they should be open and open to voluntary participation. So you can be a member on a voluntary basis, but this doesn't mean that anyone can enter and go out and leave the community any time of the day. This means that you have to follow, of course, the rules of the energy community, but it's open and to people with similar characteristics. Also, they have to be controlled by the members of their own communities. So they cannot be controlled, let's say, by a large company or by a holding of companies. They have to be autonomous and controlled by their own members or associated members. Another important point of energy communities is that they cannot be focused on providing financial benefits. So they cannot be a tool to obtain, let's say, just financial benefits from an investor. This is not the aim of energy communities, but they should provide other kind of benefits like environmental. They can provide economic benefits also for their members, and also they usually include social benefits. Social benefits could be, for example, to include in the communities vulnerable consumers and vulnerable families, so that they receive some benefits from the community. According to the regulation, also they should be constituted. So the members of the energy communities shouldn't be large organizations, large enterprises, or ministries. Basically, the focus of energy communities, the members, should be basically citizens, so families and citizens, local authorities as well. And then if they are renewable energy communities, also small or medium-sized enterprises, so SMEs, could be shops and others. And if they are citizen energy communities, only small companies. So they are more limited to the very small consumers or users. Then renewable energy communities have a specific, let's say, scope in the geographical area, and this should be more in the local and regional area. So they shouldn't be like nationwide. Usually they are local, so in the municipality, but we know that in some countries also they are more, also they are regional energy communities. So let's say local regional energy communities. This is for renewable energy communities. And for citizen energy communities, they don't have this limitation in principle, so they could be wider. And they're not limited to producing and sharing renewables, but they can do other things like, for example, install charging points or share electric vehicles, or participate in the distribution grid, let's say. Also, they could install storage or other different services like demand side or management, for example. So energy management. So they are more open to different services, the cities and energy communities, and they are more open in the geographical scope to more national, could be a national level, but they shouldn't be focused, or they don't have to be focused on only renewable energies. Also to remember that the renewable energies are not only electric energy, so not only electric renewable, could be also heat. So they could be also like district heating, for example, and cooling. Okay, so basically with these characteristics, then we know that the main members, they should be small, so people, local authorities, or small, medium enterprises, depending on the organizations. But there are other organizations that could cooperate with energy communities. So this doesn't mean that a larger organization cannot be, let's say, in the environment of these energy communities. They could participate, for example, through agreements. So maybe you can find a bank that would like to lend money to the energy community, so they can be a cooperator, but not necessarily a part of the energy community. Also, for example, I don't know, a regional government could be a promoter of communities, could support energy communities, for example, allowing them to install some renewables in the roofs of the regional buildings, or other issues like providing subsidies or financing, but they are not part, or they are not members. They are not members of the energy community. Okay, they are not associated people of this energy community. The legal forms, which is one of the first things that the energy committee or the people starting an energy committee should think about, the legal form. Typically, there are three legal forms. Association. Association, by definition, is an NGO, so it's a not-for-profit. Cooperative, which is, let's say, somehow similar to association in the sense that there are many members, usually small, but cooperative can be or is for profit. So it's like a constitution, is like an association, but the members are like each one a small company. Okay, so each one can also receive benefits from the cooperative, depending on their role in the cooperative. But also there are there's some organization called social enterprise, and social enterprise are enterprises which typically, which benefits go to social issues. So they don't provide shares, they don't provide benefits at the end of the year to the stakeholders, but they use these benefits to or increase their own company or work in social works, support social issues. So then there can be others like foundations and some others, but these are the most typical legal forms for energy communities. We had recently a meeting in the PowerEcon project, and I thought it was interesting to share with you which are the existing debates on energy communities, because there are energy communities existing in the market, so in different European countries, not in all European countries, but in many, there are energy communities, but there are still like debates and issues to be discussed, and I wanted to present them to you. One of them, for example, is what is the role of the local and regional authorities and with the energy communities, because in some cases there can be a kind of competition. Sometimes the municipality wants to support energy communities, and sometimes there are energy communities constituted that want to support as well other energy communities. And sometimes it's not fully clear the role of each part, or there is even competition. So in principle, this shouldn't happen, and there should be a good cooperation between local regional authorities and existing or new energy communities. Also, it's not fully clear about the geographical scope in the sense of the projects of the energy communities. So to put a clear example, in Spain, when you install a solar PV in a roof of a building, so you can install solar PV integrated in the roof, you can share this energy, so you can use it for an energy community, but the people should be less than 2,000 meters distance from this production place, from this PV. So why 2,000 and not 5,000, 10,000, or whatever? So there is a kind of strategy in each country to to regulate the distance between production places for the energy community or from the energy community and the users, the consumers of this energy. In some countries, I remember, for example, in Austria, is linked to the grid. So if these users are in the low voltage grid, they can participate in this local energy community. And there are also regional energy communities. It's similar, but they should be linked, or they should join the medium voltage grid, for example. So in this country, there's a difference on the regulation, and there are different possibilities for the members and the production sites to cooperate one with the other, or to join one with the other. Also, the role of the DSO. The DSO, of course, is the one who transmits usually the energy from the production site to the users. And depending on the country, they are more keen on, usually not so keen sometimes, to include many or different production sites, photovoltaics, small photovoltaics, for example, or wind power, to their grids. Because this is a perturbation of the grid, and they have to control the grid with usually with the metering systems, with the control systems, and this takes some work, and it has to be clear how they participate and if they have to get something from that or not, or what is their role. Okay, also the ownership of the energy community projects. So we are speaking about, for example, solar PV or wind power or whatever. And then who owns these facilities? In some cases, it's the own energy community as legal form. So the association or cooperative owns these production sites, but sometimes could be the members. Each member or some members own these places and they share this energy with others. So there are different possibilities. Okay. Also, the regulation is an important issue because in each country there are specific regulations for electricity or energy sharing. And also this has to be addressed and improved. In most countries, it happens that there are difficult administrative processes. So when you are installing a PV or wind power or whatever you do, there is a long process since you start the process to define the installation and dimension it until the energy is shared with the members of the energy community. I can say that in Spain could be perfectly 2 years or even 3 years sometimes. And this is a barrier. It's a strong barrier because then the members start to be aware about if the energy community is going to progress or not. Also, social aims have to be clear. So which are the social aims of the energy community in the case that the energy community is focused on some specific social aims and how to share the energy. And here, something that should be simple somehow in the sense that if you want to share, for example, a percentage of the energy with vulnerable consumers and just give this energy for free to them, sometimes it's not simple because the administrative processes to provide energy to vulnerable consumers have specific rules, sometimes because they are already supported by specific organisms that have some rules that maybe they give some energy to them. So if you want to give energy also from the energy community, it's not a simple process. And finally, and not less, the capacity building needed. So there is need of capacity building at all levels to public servants at different levels, national, regional, and local, also to the citizens to understand and to explain what are energy communities, also to the technicians, for example, to the installers, to know how to do the administrative processes for the specific installations of the energy communities, and in general for anyone. I mean, there's a lot of need of capacity building. Here are some examples of how we could share the electricity in Spain. So in principle, I won't detail all of them, but just for example, this one here, what we can do in one of the options is to produce in the roof of a building and share it among the members of that building. We have the electronic system that this specific system doesn't share outside the building, so the grid is limited here, but you can share, for example, within the building to different consumers. Another option, for example, is this one here. We install in a public building. This is a sports center, and part of the energy is consumed in the own sports center, and some other energy is consumed in homes or in buildings in the surrounding. As I mentioned, in this case, it's a roof of a building. These others should be less than 2,000 meters away from this installation. In this case, you don't have to pay the grid tariff. So you can share this electricity, and the benefit is that you don't pay the grid tariff. You just pay, or you just agree on the payment based on whatever is decided within the energy community. Also, not to forget about the heat sharing. Heat sharing is also important because you can also do a district heating system, for example, and this is also a possibility for the energy communities. So this could be done also in different systems. We do here in Spain a lot for condominiums. So there's a district heating, and the energy is shared in different condominiums, and also they could constitute energy communities. Okay. Which are the challenges for this energy sharing in the energy communities? What are the challenges and drivers as well? Okay, so basically, in the policy is a supporting issue, as a supporting thing, but sometimes it's limited to specific rules. So this can be both a driver and a challenge. The market, in principle, is promoting in Spain at least, and in some other countries, the PV installations, because the reduction on the investment cost has been strong in the last years. But at the same time, there are now is happening. There is some, let's say, there was a lot of installations in the previous years, so now there's a little bit of blocking of this speed. Not too much, but there is a reduction in the speed of the installations in the market. Well, regulation also is both a driver and challenge, because regulation also needs to be further developed. The economic issues are also relevant. Sometimes you have benefits for installing, like I mentioned before, installing, for example, in the surrounding of the neighborhood is you don't pay the grid fee, and sometimes, for example, there's an increase in the property value when you install PV and you have energy which will be shared with you for years. Once you have paid the installation, you have free energy for many years. It's also an increase in the property value, for example. Social issues, I think there are many with energy communities. First one, of course, inclusion of vulnerable families, but also, for example, to fix population in rural areas and create employment also. And of course, the digitization and the use of ICT technologies is very relevant, and I would say even necessary for energy communities, because when you want to share energy, you need to control very well the production of this energy, but also you need to know the demand. So how much energy is the demand in the different places, and you need to match the production and the demand. And this is very difficult if you don't have a really good digital system, a good platform, good data, good quality of the data, and also a good system to match production and demand and keep optimizing the energy produced and the demand. Also think that this is a dynamic issue. This is a dynamic issue. So people don't consume the same every day, every month, and every year. And something you have been measuring last year is maybe something that is different this year because climatology, change of the use of the spaces, etc. There could be many different situations. So it's dynamic. So you need really to have a good digital system, a good platform, and manage the data so you optimize the production and the demand of the community. This is just an example of one of the energy communities in the south of Spain, where well, it's like a typical energy community, let's say, somehow. It can be replicated. In this case, the municipality allows to the energy community to use a roof, because the community has to give back to the municipality a percentage of the energy, usually between 5 and 10%. But sometimes this energy is given not directly to the consumption of the municipality, but to vulnerable consumers. So the agreement is, okay, I am the municipality, I allow you to install solar PV, but you have to give a percentage of energy or to municipal buildings or to vulnerable consumers, or both of them. Okay. In this case, there are 56 citizens and 2 SMEs. The PV is about is something like 30 kilowatts. And then the financing issue is quite relevant as well. When you start an energy community, sometimes there are no previous assets because the energy community is new. So it's difficult that you go to a bank and you ask for money for investment when you don't have anything behind. So how to solve this? Usually, there's a percentage of the investment paid up front by the members. So depending on the amount that they are going to receive of energy, they give a part of this investment up front. And then there are different options. One is crowdfunding, to use crowdfunding platforms to pay for the rest. Another is to use banks, but usually the banks that understand what are energy communities are the ethical banks. So some we have been discussing, for example, with banks like Triodos or with banks like Fiare, because they know what is an energy community, and then they can calculate the risks, and they can really provide real financing for the members. Okay, so this is quite also relevant. The structure of the financing, how you finance the installations and even the management of the energy community. Okay, and then just to speak a little bit about the digitalization on energy communities, we are developing this other project where we are in the specific, it's a project on digitalization and use of blockchain for energy systems. It's a project where we use one blockchain platform to develop different pilots. So there are pilots, for example, in Berlin, they are doing a pilot with ESCOs. So they are doing a pilot to monitor buildings and to provide energy to buildings by an ESCO with this system, with blockchain. So they monitor the data. So they use the blockchain to manage data, to know what is the consumption, and then to put in the invoice what is the savings or the cost of this energy. But in the particular case of Spain, where we are doing this project with an energy community, and I thought it was interesting to mention what are we doing with blockchain and energy community. So basically, we are using a verified, of course, data and platform, blockchain, because blockchain is something quite, it's something that everybody speaks about it, but there are not so many good examples in energy sector. So basically, we are using a verified data platform. We are generating this so-called smart contract, which is basically the use of the data, so the capture of data, assessment of the data, calculations, and so we use these algorithms in the platform, and then give this information back to some system. So all this process is called the smart contract generator. Then, of course, another point when you do blockchain is also how if you want to provide some kind of benefit. In the case of our energy community, was to incentivize the use of solar PV at the time when it is produced. So what we wanted is the people to change the demand considering the time of production of solar PV. So if at 12 o'clock today there is a lot of sun, we send a signal to the people, please use energy at 12, and then you get some incentive. But there's a legal issue there, is how to provide the incentives to the people. Because then if you give, let's say, for example, money to them, and then this has some taxes implications and it's not clear in the regulations. So all this, we address it. And at the moment, what we are going to test is to give tokens, and these tokens can be used, we will see for what. So maybe for providing them free energy, or maybe they can use it somewhere to, let's say, buy something, but it's something we are now addressing. And also, they can be used different interfaces. So basically, in this energy community, we get the data from the smart meters and from the inverters of the solar PV. We put all this information in the blockchain. So we capture this information, put it in the blockchain platform, do our algorithms to understand if they are or not changing the consumption use. So if they are matching demand and solar PV production or not. And then when they do a certain matching, then we give these tokens back through different systems. The one we are trying to use is an app. So through the app, they know at the time that they should use the energy, and they also can get the tokens in this app, and they can use it for some benefit. And basically, this is the project. So this INXS project has this aim to use this so-called blockchain, which is part of the distributed layer technology. So there is not only blockchain, but there are other kind of blockchains, let's say. And in this case, is to maximize the self-consumption of electricity within the energy community. Also, in this app that we are providing the tokens and the benefits, we are giving them some tips to save energy. So not only to change the consumption pattern, but also to reduce the demand of the energy. And this is these are the members of the energy community. They are in Crevillente, close to Alicante, in the west eastern part of Spain. And well, there, I mean, we have several energy communities. We are focused now on 5 different areas, but we hope we can expand this blockchain system to many others. And this is in practice what we are doing. So we want to give, with this service, a reduction in the energy bill, clearly, increase the consumption of solar PV, which is produced in the municipality, not in the municipal buildings, but in municipalities, also in municipal buildings, but also in homes, also in some lands of the municipality, improve the energy efficiency, so they get a better bill, and also incentives. Also, the DSO doesn't have to bring all the electricity from outside, so they can manage the local grid better with all this system. We have a smart grid. That means that we have all smart meters, all in the whole grid. Also, increase the energy community, the number of people. So we increase the number of people. The installations already working provide economic incentives to the benefits to the community, and the community can keep investing more and more. Also, improve the energy literacy of the households thanks to this platform. So to learn more and more how the behavior of the people and how to use this system to benefit all parts. And innovation in the energy system and more flexibility to adapt to the market. So we also can, as we produce much solar PV, which is self-produced, then we don't depend so much on the market. And we can also control, we have some batteries, we can also control when to buy the electricity from the market. Okay, so this is all about my presentation, and so thank you very much for your listening, and I'm open to any question or comment.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much for this great presentation of the energy communities, which so having so much constructive information from all of us. So I was trying to have a look here in the chat, and I think we have received some questions. So the first one is from Ignacio, who is asking if you could provide a little more details about the token system. If you have an example, it would be very appreciated to understand more about it.
Okay, so at the moment we are the the member of the cooperative, which is the energy community, or which constitutes the energy communities, is ENERCOP. ENERCOP is a traditional cooperative for more than 100 years, so they have many members, and they are many members where they supply and provide energy, and now they started years ago to constitute these energy communities within their members. So what they are doing is to prepare the token, because I mean the tokens we are. I can explain the process. So the process is the grid has the smart meters, and with the smart meters we get the hourly data of the people. So this is the first thing to obtain the information, hourly data from the people. Then from the inverters, so from the PV installations, also we get the hourly data of this of the production of the PV. And then each member is assigned an amount of energy, so a percentage of the installation. So just to put an example, we have one community is approximately 100 members and 100 kilowatts. So we give 1 kilowatt, we assign, because in Spain you have to assign you don't assign energy. Well, you can, I mean, in this specific community, you assign a percentage of the panels, okay, of this installation. So basically, we assign 2 panels per family, which is 1 kilowatt, 500 watts, so 1 kilowatt per family, okay. Then they know that they have 1 kilowatt, or whatever is produced in these 2 panels goes directly to them. This is how it goes. Then we get this information, which is also in the Enercube system, because they are, in this case, they are at the same time producers, distributor, and supplier of energy. So they have all the information available. So in the platform of the distribution company, they have the demand of the home and the production of the 1 kilowatt assigned to the home. This is within Enercube system. Then this information goes to the blockchain platform. It gets this information. Okay, so it acquires the information to the platform, and then it matches and says, okay, in this moment, the typical situation for you is this production and this demand. And then with some algorithms, we say, okay, if you change, let's say, from this demand and this production to here, if you change, and then I don't have exactly the algorithm, but let's say you improve at 10% the consumption and matches better the PV, then we give you, with this calculation, we give you, let's say, for example, 10 tokens. Okay, we are in that point because, as I mentioned, we have to solve the taxes and legal issues about how we can provide something to the people and that this doesn't create a problem for them. Because it would be very easy to say, okay, we give you one voucher and you can go to the shop and buy something, for example. But all these have taxes and legal implications. So what we are defining now is what to do exactly with this. One possibility we are thinking is to give some kind of discount in the energy, because it will be all within, let's say, the commercial purpose of their own organization and shouldn't be a new thing for the customer. This could be an option. But we wanted to create something more social, so something that they go somewhere else, or they buy something, or even they give it to somebody, or we give this to this family because it's vulnerable, or we buy something for, I don't know, food for, or whatever, I don't know. So that's a debate we are having now. So we are having now the debate of, we are finalizing the technical part with the blockchain platform, because as I mentioned, there's not so much experience. There's a lot of blah, 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 but experience in practice is few for energy, and is little. And also this other part on how to use the tokens, not giving problems, let's say, to the people that are benefiting from them.
Okay.
That is the most I can say, because it's the real situation of the project so far.
Yes, yes. So we have some other questions, like you mentioned that you can have different geographical scope of the energy community. Either you can put a local or regional. So can you say something about advantages or disadvantages between these two options?
Yes, in principle, I think that the lack of knowledge in general in Europe and of the ministries in general about how these energy communities would develop made that they limited very much what the energy community could do. So in principle, the first regulations that appear I think in most countries were quite restrictive. So, for example, in Spain, the first regulation only allowed energy communities to share from one installation to up to 500 meters. So only 500 meters, you could share the energy from one installation to the people 500 meters away. Then a few months later was 1,000. 1 year later was 2,000. So it's clear that it's not clear this is a ministry. So this is the Ministry of Energy in Spain. So I think in each country they are developing slowly, and I think they are caution, which is not bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. The regulation. In some countries, like most Eastern European countries, there is no regulation for energy communities. So they are in the very early phase also. We learned from our colleagues from Austria, from the Upper Austrian Energy Agency, that in Austria it's not linked so much to the distance, but more to the grid. So you can be a member of a local energy community if you are in the low voltage grid of the others, let's say, so you can produce and share within the low voltage grid this electricity. So it doesn't matter if you are 1 meter or 20 kilometers. If you are that doesn't make sense. But basically, 1 meter to 1,000 meters or 2,000 meters if you are in the low voltage grid, and they name these local energy communities. And also they have other energy communities which are regional, and they have to be within the medium voltage grid. So they have this other regulation. I would say they are one of the countries which are more advanced in this sense. And then there are many other models. So the model of the energy sharing, the model of the economic issue, and the model of the let's say social involvement is different in each country, and it also is not fully defined.
Okay.
Okay.
So in the early phase, you need to do some analysis to understand how this
the
is
model. I think the models, that's something we are doing in Power Ecom, is to define models. So we try to homogenize what model works in a country, so it can be replicated in the country, or maybe other countries as well. But to define some standard models that when a group of people comes and say, or a municipality comes and says, I want to constitute an energy community, how do I do it? Okay, you have these 5 models. You can be a cooperative or an association. You can provide roofs or not, etc. You can finance this way or this way, and they have some models that they can, let's say, follow easily somehow.
Yeah, so regarding these different kind of models, is there anyone, or you say there are like different legal forms of energy communities. Are there any of these types that is more successful or more easy to manage over time?
Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the simplest legal forms are the associations. Association in general, it can be started with 3 people. At least in Spain, with 3 people, you can do an association. So you only need 3 people. And the process to constitute can be 3 months. 3 months, 4 months. So you prepare statutes. You have there's one day where all the starting members sign that they start the association. Then you go to the register. Then you do a couple of more administrative things like getting a bank account and maybe the number, the identification code for the legal form. 2 or 3 more things. So in 4 months, 3, 4, 5 months, you get this. And it's important to understand that associations are not for profit. So by definition, they shouldn't give money, let's say, at the end of the year to the members. It's more something social, let's say. So you, of course, get benefit because you're a member and you get energy for a better price, but you wouldn't get at the end of the year benefit. Then cooperatives, you can get a benefit. So this is one of the differences. Usually cooperative is to maybe install more and more PV, even if you are not going to use it for yourself, but you can also share with others and create like a company. In fact, it's like a company. It works similar to a company. You install the energy, you can share this energy, and you can, if you share this energy with others outside from the community even, you can even get money and share it with the members. And then a social enterprise is also something that can be created quite easily. And this can be in some places where there is more, how would I say, there's a clear leader, which is an organization that leads and has the more control of the energy community. In Spain, basically, there are associations and cooperatives. These are the main. And few social enterprises. Because in fact, the definition of social enterprise is a bit tricky because a company, so enterprise, is for profit. But social, in principle, by definition, social enterprise is somehow not so much for profit. It's a social aim. So it's a bit, let's say, it's a bit confusing definition. Maybe it's just because in some countries, it's a good legal form for some works where you provide you started and you provide social benefits, but maybe for energy communities, it's social, let's say.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for answering all the questions, and thank you for this great presentation where we all could learn more about the energy communities and the important role of them in the energy transition in Europe for all of our countries. So I also see in the chat box that Mara has put some information about some capacity building and technical assistance that is going on in another project for citizen-led renovation. So I think people who are interested maybe can open that link and see what is up there to join some network and then learn more about. So time is running here and we need to wrap it up because our time is out for this session. So before we conclude, I just want to invite everybody to our next Climate Leader Lunch Hangout that will take place on the 18th of April. So please block your calendars. Time is as usual from 1:15 to 2 p.m. Central European time. And we will have Central European summertime by that. So Next time, our guest speaker will be Mikael Karlsson, who will join us from the Swedish Uppsala University. So we will be very happy to have Mikael with us, who will speak about climate governance for 1.5 degrees and how a better world is possible. So there is a link in the chat box. Please use it and sign up to be part of the next Zoom call. And also please share it with all your community of climate leaders so we can be a nice group hanging out together for the next launch hangout. So again, I want to thank all of you for being part of this session today, and I wish everybody a wonderful Thursday. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabella.
And especially many thanks to Fransisco for this great session for the energy community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isabella. Thank you.